Good evening, Fever and CC fans. So I'm just letting you know I am really tired tonight and I'm heading off to bed after this. But I do want to touch base on a couple of things, okay? Maybe three. And I do have some highlights. So, number one, regardless of what the outcome is of this CBA, I mean, if they were to all of a sudden, I wake up tomorrow morning and both sides have come to the table and both sides have made concessions. And even if the WNBA uh, turned out to be more fair with the women than they have been, Kathy Engelbert has to go. Okay, her reign must end. Um, and I say this in all fairness, because while I realize that she did a great job with the WNBA, bringing them out of the whole COVID era. Um, she really is a cold fish, and I don't see her actually giving a fat rat's ass about the women who play basketball on her behalf. Okay. Um, so I do agree with people who think that the next leader of the WNBA, the next commissioner, has to have more of a player focus. Somehow they need to find someone who has a balance between, the business side and the humanity side of the sport. Okay. I know that's a tall order. All right. It really is, you know, this is not um, simply a problem that the WNBA has. This is all of sports, essentially. Okay. When we get right down to it. This is not something that's exclusive to the WNBA. It's a problem across the board, okay? So yeah, I think leadership has to be better, without a doubt, okay? And I think kind of one of the things we're going to be stuck with again um, is going to be poor refereeing. We're going to have to live with this for a bit longer, quite frankly, because this kind of has fallen off the radar given everything else that needs to be addressed. All right. So, what I would say is that the players, um, the owners, and most importantly, the fans need to raise their voices on the referee situation. So that's it. Got the Engelbert has got to be, this has got to be, she's got to be nearing the end of her term as the commissioner of the WNBA. That's number one. Number two, a couple of people have commented that they don't believe that March 10th is a real drop dead date. Well, it is a real drop dead date. Now, we're not saying that negotiations can't continue after March 10th. But the assertion that should this whole thing go beyond March 10th, um, you can almost be guaranteed that the season will be delayed or disrupted. There's no way for them beyond the date of March 10th to get through free agency, the expansion draft, and the collegiate draft. There's simply not enough time. I mean, after March 10th, the season starts in May. Okay, we have training camp, all right, in May. And then the season starts. Training camp isn't all that long. And then the season starts. When you're getting around to the March time, on February 1st, you could breathe easy, okay? When you're getting around to March 10th now, you're really cutting it short. And it's a lot to have to do in a very short period of time. So what that March 10th drop dead date is is a drop dead date for disruption of the season, essentially. And I think that's a fair assessment, quite frankly. It's a reality. Thirdly, couple of comments about the women don't have as much power as they think they have. It's all Caitlin Clark. Look, it isn't all Caitlin Clark. It's not all one player. Let me phrase it. Let me frame this for you in this way. I am a huge, huge Caitlin Clark fan. Okay. I will state to you right now that in all my years of watching sports, and I have watched a lot of NBA and I have watched a lot of WNBA, okay, I have never seen anyone play basketball like Caitlin Clark, okay, male or female. And for me to make that kind of a statement, knowing how I feel about Larry Bird, that's a big statement to make. Okay. You know, she is truly what a generational player is. All right. And players like Caitlin Clark, they come around once in a blue moon. Okay. You're probably not going to see anyone like her play in the sport in the next 10 or 15 years, in my opinion. I mean, I know people are saying, oh, there's this girl and that girl, and she's almost as good as Caitlin Clark. And you know what? You're going to have to, yeah, I'm from the show me state on that one. Because people like Caitlin Clark, a lot of what she's got, you can't teach. Okay. Her ability to command the floor, her ability to read plays, you know, in advance of everybody else. Um, that's stuff that a lot of that stuff can't be taught. All right. So I am about as big a fan as you can get. She to me, as I've said this before in a video, is the epitome of the Beatles in terms of me and how I feel about the Beatles relative to other bands. But that being said, Caitlin Clark needs other people in order for her to have a venue to strut her stuff. So to say that there aren't any other good players in the WNBA is absolute bullshit. Okay, I'm just going to call that right now. That's like saying that there's no other bands that are good other than the Beatles. That's not true. There are no bands that are as good as the Beatles. There are no bands in my mind that come as close as the Beatles. They were songwriting masters. They revolutionized music. Okay, almost every 2 years they made a leap that was beyond the bounds of imagination in terms of musical ability. Rubber Soul to Revolver to Sergeant Pepper to the White Album to Let It Be. I mean, the Abbey Road and Let It Be. It was an amazing thing. All right, but that doesn't mean I didn't listen to the Rolling Stones or the Kinks or the Traveling Wilburys or Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. There's a lot of good bands out there. They're just not the Beatles. There's a lot of good basketball players out there too. They're just not Caitlin Clark. Okay, and when I was watching the NBA, there were a lot of good basketball players then too, but they just weren't Larry Bird. All right. But in order for Caitlin Clark to have a venue for her to show her talent, she needs other players to play with. And Caitlin Clark doesn't share a lot of her fans' attitudes towards the other women in the WNBA. She gives credit where credit is due. All right. You know, she didn't build this league. There were players that came before her that labored under, conditions of sexism and racism beyond the boundaries of imagination. I mean, these women played in empty arenas simply because people had absolutely no respect for women in the sporting world. Okay? But if you watch clips of Maya Moore, you will see how Caitlin Clark has modeled her game after what Maya Moore was able to do. Okay? We don't need to elevate Caitlin Clark by shitting all over the rest of the women in the league. There are some hacks out there. There are some hacks in the NBA. There are some hacks in Major League Baseball. There are some hacks in hockey. There are some hacks in football. There are role players in every sport that are not world beaters, but they have their place. Okay? And then there are talents that exceed the boundaries of anyone's imagination, and that's what Caitlin Clark does. All right? But when you say things like nobody else can play but her, you're kind of diminishing her talent level, okay? Because she simply can run circles around these people, not because they can't play basketball, but because she is that good. So we do not need to dump on the other players to elevate her. All right. She doesn't expect that. She doesn't want that. And she doesn't think the way some of her fans think about the other women in the league. So let me caution you about that, okay? Because to say that there aren't any other good players in the league is not true. You know, I love Stewie. I think she's a great prototypical power forward. I love her. I love Kelsey Mitchell's game, okay? I like Sophie Cunningham even before she was a member of the Indiana Fever, okay? But I've watched videos of Sophie Cunningham playing defense on Caitlin Clark, and I've watched Caitlin Clark run circles around her, okay? And she's a great defensive player. So, just saying. All right, now I'm done with my lecture for this evening, children. And so let us move on to some highlights. Some of these I'm not sure I've seen. I may very well have seen them in other mixes, you know. But I thought, yeah, I think this is about 8 minutes long. And I'm not going to show the whole thing. I know I say that all the time, don't I? I lie a lot. Yeah, I don't mean to, but it just happens once I start watching. So let's take a quick gander at this. All right, we're going to optimize it here so people don't complain at me. And then let's get going.
Kelsey Mitchell. And it's looking for just an inch. She just needs to find a way to get a little bit of space.
Here's Clark turning the corner, lays it in. Clark working on Van Loo. Oh, Clark, pretty step back, hits a three.
But this is the intensity on defense that has started this run for Atlanta. The help side's got to be there.
How about the finish at the other end?
We're going to expect a big night here for Cunningham. She does a good job stepping in when she needs to.
Clark, she's putting up for one, did not, but able to hit. Here's the flick ahead. Alyssa Smith lays it in. Look here at a career first.
Just step back, going right, I may add. It's usually step back, going left.
Go make for Clark.
On a 15-2 extended run from the end of the first quarter, Clark again.
Caitlin Clark's shooting ability is simply elite. Her range extends far beyond the three-point line, and she shoots with confidence no matter the distance. Defenders are forced to guard her the moment she crosses half court, and even that sometimes isn't enough. Her quick release, smooth mechanics, and fearless mentality make her one of the most dangerous scorers on the floor.
Caitlin Clark, one of the rare times this season we've seen her get open. Dejanay Carrington just looking at.
Channel defense by the Sparks fans. 6 on the shot clock. Clark, a deep three.
All is trying to clear 8. Shot clock down to 9. Here as Clark gets inside, the scoop shot fall.
Still loose on the floor. Mitchell's been really active defensively tonight.
Some score power on the court. Watch that inside hand, that left hand. Caitlin Clark gets.
And that jumper looks like she's got her legs and her ankles just fine.
Girl cut by Kelsey Mitchell from 15 and 11.
Man, just being able to get out of the way, get the defense.
Break there to help. Nice pass back.
Going to be trailing on this. Watch right here. This is jail. Great screen by Boston. She holds the contact.
Only person shooting better from the three by percentage than her teammate Kayla McBride.
Clark takes it right.
All right.
They called it on Howard, her second. If anything, I thought maybe Kalani Brown might have been whistled for something.
Yeah, I didn't see that call at all.
Caitlin Clark.
Finlay with a huge block. An absolute wall at the rim. It leads to that.
Whether it's a pull-up three, a step-back jumper, or a tough shot under pressure, Caitlin Clark delivers. But what truly separates Caitlin Clark from many others is her passing. She doesn't just score, she creates. Caitlin Clark has outstanding court vision and awareness. She reads defenses.
Indiana's going to have to try to win this a second time here after that brilliant first half. Oh, Clark, beautiful feet.
Many times early in the season where that has not been the case and have allowed too much dribble penetration.
Well, and it allows them. Oh, what a dive. My goodness, the pass. That Shot won't fall from Haley Jones. Indiana has a chance to take the lead. Alyssa Smith, outlet pass, it's Clark.
Was most recently named Rookie of the Month in the WNBA. The confidence personified by the young.
Austin gets it back to Clark, sidesteps Howard. She will launch and knock down a three.
They spend a lot of time learning through film. Nice drive by Kelsey Mitchell, but young players need those reps on the floor with one another.
There's the
Trapping horns.
oh, launches and connects on a three.
And Stewart are double-figure scores for the Liberty. Clark feeding Samuelson out of that double team. Some score power on the court.
Watch that inside hand, that left hand. Caitlin Clark gets
Instantly and anticipates movements before they happen. Her no-look passes catch defenders off guard. Her bounce passes slice through tight spaces. Her cross-court assists hit teammates perfectly in rhythm. Caitlin Clark makes the game easier for everyone around her because she knows exactly when to score and when to facilitate. Her ball handling is another major weapon. Caitlin Clark controls the pace with confidence, using hesitation moves and sharp changes of direction to create separation. In transition, she pushes the tempo and makes quick decisions that lead to easy scoring opportunities.
calling forward and gets it. Here's Hamby on the post. Against Samuelson, stripped away, picked up by Clark. Clark, the feet underneath, Fagbinley working against Giroux. What a move there.
But going right, she has such a great change of pace, and she's learned to play through the
Or a turnover and push pace the other way. First in the league in fast break points.
Clark connects.
And at least in the fourth quarter, an 8-3 rebounding advantage.
Clark pulls, fires, hits.
Mitchell with 5 seconds left. Cross court Clark. Does Clark see the clock? Handoff Samuelson. Who buries a three?
Hits the deck, an opportunity here for Chicago. Here is Carter. Kicking it out. Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down. It is Caitlin Clark able to clear for Indiana.
Caitlin coming off that 20-point performance right here. Handling the physicality of Benizer.
Break there to help. Nice pass back.
They're hoping that can discourage Alyssa Thomas from making some of her great passes.
No one picks up Clark, who cans the three.
You get the point. You get the point. The point is that nobody plays basketball like Caitlin Clark. But these stupid AI announcements, I don't know why they put that stuff in there. You know, it would be one thing if what they were saying, what was coming out of their mouths, had anything to do with what was happening on the court, okay? But most of the time it doesn't. So the best thing you can do, right, because you people have been watching basketball, is turn the damn voice off and just watch her play ball, okay? So anyway, that's where we are for tonight. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to see if there's any movement whatsoever on the CBA. I haven't, be perfectly frank with you, I haven't heard anything. But there's a couple other things we need to talk about. I'm not going to tip my hand, but I will be back again tomorrow night. You guys have a great night, and I will see you very soon. Go, Caitlin.